Dear friends and fellows, welcome to HSC tutorial. Today's topic is HIP, Hazard Identification Process. I'm your host, Javed, and you are watching Safety First. If you are new on this channel, kindly subscribe the channel. If you find the video informative, like, comment, and share. Let us discuss what is hazard identification process, who might be the part of hazards identification process. The responsible people are assistant supervisors, foremen, and engineers in the identification of workplace hazards by encouraging workers' involvement. They have to ensure that workplace hazards are controlled so far as is reasonably practicable. Let us discuss the role and responsibility or the duty of a supervisor. The role of a site supervisor generally involves the management and supervision of a construction site in accordance with health and safety guidelines. It is the responsibility of the site supervisor to assess hazards, determine risks, conduct regular inspections, and maintain a safety program. We are going to discover hazards. So basically, you must know what is hazard. Any source, situation, or condition which has the potential to cause injury to the people, damage to the equipment, or damage to the environment is known as hazard. In the hazards, usually two main aspects: unsafe conditions and unsafe acts. Let us discuss what are unsafe conditions and what are the examples of unsafe conditions. Construction unsafe, order or planning bad, no guarding, defective condition, rough, sharp or slippery, inadequate guarded, the layout, exits, walkways, etc., illumination unsafe, overcrowding, no PPE, or safe ventilation non-existent. These are the different unsafe conditions. Let us look what are the examples. Damaged equipment, poor lighting, missing machine guards, unsafe atmosphere, slippery floors, or lack of proper equipment. All these are the unsafe conditions that might lead to a potential accident or incident in a construction site. Here are a few examples: unsafe storage of compressed gas cylinders, unsafe electrical wiring, unprotected edges, uncovered openings, poor housekeeping, and obstructions, trailing cables, etc. These are the examples of unsafe conditions, and visually you can see at the slide these conditions are unsafe and it might lead to an accident. Unsafe acts are actions by people that directly cause or contribute to an accident. Unsafe acts by people can be described as unsafe speeds of working, no authority, failure to secure or warn, safety devices made inoperative, arranging or placing objects unsafely, pulling, teasing, abusing, equipment unsafe. For example, hands are being used instead of push sticks, adjusting moving dangerous equipment, chance taking, or taking unsafe positions. These are the different conditions or forms of unsafe acts. Have a look on the examples of unsafe acts: horseplay, running, drug or alcohol use, not following procedures, taking shortcuts, unauthorized use of equipment or tools, using damaged equipment, or not using personal protective equipment. All these are the different forms of unsafe acts. Here are few visual examples of unsafe acts. You can easily understand how Unsafe acts lead to a potential accident or incident in a workplace. Remember, if we are able to eliminate unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, about 98% of all accidents would be prevented. Unsafe acts cause approximately 88% of total accidents. Unsafe conditions cause approximately 10% of overall accidents, and acts of providence cause approximately only 2% of overall accidents. So it is very much clear and understandable that 98% accidents are preventable if the hazards are identified in time and appropriate control measures are implemented in time. 98% of the accidents can be prevented in construction site or any other industry. Now, we will discuss in detail the role and responsibilities of supervisory staff. They have to fill out HIP forms, hazard identification forms in their areas of authority at the beginning of each shift. All hazards are identified by the workforce and have been controlled before work starts. Ensure workforce understand their own responsibilities in controlling hazards and sign onto the hazard identification form. Ensure HIP forms are updated with the new hazards and controls if working conditions change during the shift or if a new worker joins the team. At the end of your shift, drop the HIP form into the drop box at the site entrance. The hazard identification process or procedure has pictures to help remind supervisors of points they should be discussing with the workforce and in assessing workplace hazards. The aim is to get workers to identify hazards for themselves and to encourage them to recommend the controls needed. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today's topic is hazard identification process. Let us look what are the aims and objectives of hazards identification process. Objective of the job to be done safely. Workforce understand their job responsibilities. Assess how hazards are to be controlled or managed. All workers discuss together. The supervisor is not the only one who speaks. Number two, if supervisor is called away, who is in charge next? All men are aware of who will be in charge, who will do what job. These roles and responsibilities must be clear and it should be understood by the site team or by the team members. Number three, manpower and skills. Supervisor asks team if they have enough workers to complete their task. No juggling of jobs. Any bright ideas to improve safety. The supervisor will ask from the workers. Workers understand how to use equipment, proper training. New workers not given jobs they are not experienced in. Number four, implementation of permit to work system. Is a permit to work required? Has it been filled in correct way? Has it been signed by the relevant, concerned, and authorized staff? Number five, hazardous substances. What chemicals or substances are in use? Is the safety data sheet available? Do you understand all the information on the SDS is communicated? Do you know what the emergency procedures are in the event of a spill? Is all the PPE, personal protective equipment is adequate? And is additional equipment needed like eye wash station? Number six, PPE, personal protective equipment. Is the PPE correct for the job? Is everyone wearing it? Is PPE in sufficient supply and in good condition? Defects are comments noted in the HIP form. Number seven, manual handling. Is lifting or carrying involved? Can it be made safer, or can mechanical means be used? Mobile work, elevated platforms, or you have to add further controls onto hip form. Work environment, is the area is safe where the workforce is working. Things to consider: noise, dust, heat, wind, working in confined spaces, adequate ventilation, working at height, slippery surfaces, tripping hazards, and flying particles, etc. Write down hazards and controls on the heap form. Number 9, access and egress. Is access to work area safe? Obstruction, trip hazards, are slippery surfaces, are ladders, scaffolding in good condition, fixed in position correctly, scuff tags and certificates are available and pasted. Can the workers escape safely? Can we evacuate a badly injured person on a stretcher from the area? Write down the hazard and control measures on the HIP form. Number 10, conflicting activities. Are workers' activities around you likely to cause potential injury to workers from below, around, or above? Ask your workforce to identify possible problems. Are there areas unguarded which may cause to fall, trip, or slip? Are there any other unsafe conditions? Are men working unsafely? Record all hazards on your HIP form and your control measures. Number 11, tools and equipment. Is all equipment correctly color coded? Is equipment in good condition and safe? Write down any defective equipment and controls needed before you start the work. Number 12, waste management and housekeeping. Is the workforce cleaning the site? No tripping hazards or fire hazards? Is waste disposed of correctly? List the hazards and appropriate control measures on your HIP form. Dear friends and fellows, basically these are the 12 major areas where supervisory staff, it might be a site supervisor, it might be a foreman, it might be assistant supervisor, it might be a sergeant or a site engineer. They have to ensure all these points one by one while they are going to start the activity at a construction site. They will indicate the hazard and they will write down the control measures, and appropriately they will provide the resources to carry out the activities safely and to control the risk to an acceptable level. Dear friends and fellows, stop the job if it is not safe. If you are going to start the work and the work site and the work conditions are safe, everybody should agree prior to start the work. Sign onto the form to formal sign onto the HIP form to formally agree. It is also the responsibility of the site supervisor to ask workforce for any additional comments or suggestions. Those are not mentioned on HIP form. Dismiss workforce after they have signed to agree all hazards are controlled. Begin job and continuously monitor work site for new hazards or ones that were missed. Add them to your HIP form with control measures taken and sign on any newcomers. At the end of each shift, keep the HIP form into the HIP box at specified designated locations. So this was the journal overview, how the supervisory team, how the supervisory staff will identify the hazards. The summary of the session is that unsafe acts need to be corrected, unsafe conditions need to be corrected, and prior to correction, you have to identify the unsafe conditions, and then appropriately you have to keep control on unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. For the purpose, you have to go through the hazards identification process form. You have to tick mark the hazards which are prevailing on your construction site, and you have to provide the control measures appropriately to keep the workers safe, to keep the site safe, and to avoid any type of accident in the shape of injury, damage, or ill health. And that's it. Training session is over now. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and share the video. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Till then, take care. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.